Sends it up to the point. Silverthorne off the boards, gets the break, goes with it. Silverthorne puts it onto the back post. Zajac puts it into the back post, and it goes forward from Macaulay Hayward, having the right hand over the top, throwing it in, and Miller's going toe to toe, and he's got 3 or 4 headshots, and then drags it down. Still has it. Zabo being sort of marked out the game by Tom, and the shot comes from forward now. Babrea with plans. Babrea walks in, shoots,
and he picks up his own rebound and
Zabo, and he's not happy about that. It was a late hit to hit from behind, and you see the players. Welcome to Icing Tonight on Big Centre. Tonight we'll take a look at the Telford Tigers as they take on the Sheffield Steeldogs in the first league game where the two teams meet. But first, let's take a look back at last week's goals and the thrills and spills of the Telford Tigers versus the Manchester Phoenix. Referee Tim Pickett symbols to the bench as we take a look at the first period action. The puck drops. There's a bit of a scrap around the centre circle for the puck, and it's Sam Zajac that dumps it in deep, heads round behind the net. And now, as the play just moves towards the net, there's an opportunity there for the Tigers as Clarkson skates in and gets another attempt at goal. But the netminder, Phone, doing the job, playing it nice and simple. Basics to hold the puck away from the game.
Manchester's key here is to go hell for leather right from the start. That's the only way they can do something here with a short bench.
And now, Manchester backhand it into the zone and take their first change of the night as Plant joins the ice straight onto the bench as Telford also take a change. 39 seconds in, it's going to be a quick pace game, and a shot attempt from Plant takes a deflection and goes up into the netting, which will give us an end zone face-off. Rick Plant there, straight out the bench, receives the pass, drives down the right wing, lets the shot go, takes a deflection. Kalina, you can see there, twisting the angle as he comes in for the face-off, and you've got to be really careful with that. The linesmen don't eject you from the face-off. We had a number of players ejected for cheating and not coming in square on the face-off. Shot from the point.
Oh, and it had a tip as well. It just went over.
Took a deflection from the netminder's pad behind the back of the goal. Bit of hustling and shoving there going from Telford's number 24, Milan Kalina.
Oh, and there's a tripping. I think that was accidental, but
penalty's a penalty.
There's a tripping penalty coming up on number 66, Kovar. I think no. How about that for an unbiased opinion?
Manchester pick up the puck, and as you rightly, hooking is the penalty, giving against number 66, Kovar. So he heads to the penalty box. Hayward, Silverthorne, Zajac and McEwen. It's a nice young line, fresh feet. Silverthorne battles down into the corner, takes it behind the net, leans in, pushes the defenseman away, as you can see. And that area in front of the net gets busy as far as the traffic's concerned. Telford Silverthorne turns it round in the high slot, shoots, and it goes to the back post where Clarkson shoots. The save is made, and that was quite a cheap hit there. I don't think Clarkson will be happy with Baldwin at all, but fair play to the young lad for finishing the hit against the Giant. Taylor gets there first, sends it round the boards, but there's no forechecking Telford player, so Manchester skate it out, backhand it back, and now a skate out coming up the right side into neutral ice. Indra drives down the right side, curls up ice with that Tony hand button hook that we're so familiar with Tony as a player, turning back up ice in the buttonhole style. Shot comes in, and the first goal of the night goes to Indra. Just seconds after I said he curled back up ice, bought himself some time, passes the puck down the ice, gets it back in the slot, and winds up for a first-time goal, putting that first-time shot on the score sheet. And now the Manchester Phoenix take the lead here at the Telford Ice Rink. 15 minutes and 41 seconds. The goal scorer was 51, which was the import Marek Indra.
We just said earlier that he's been working his socks off, looking quite the part, and he's got his reward there.
You know, you said this was your pen. I've just broke it.
You can have it then.
In my excitement, I've just smashed it on the table. So now, Telford got it all to play for. Pass through, Silverthorne takes a deflection, but it's scrappy in neutral ice, and Manchester once again gain possession, D-to-D pass, look up ice, good vision from the players as well. You know how we've said when you would see a team play together, sometimes teams just bond really well. Well, it has to be said that Manchester playing really well together. Referee Pickin checks in with the goal judges to make sure they're ready, raises his hand, steps forward and drops the puck on the second period of the Telford Tigers versus the Manchester Phoenix. Phoenix, Kovar wins the draw, goes back, and there's some pushing and shoving there between Phil Hill and I think it was Bebris. I'm just trying to have a look at the player's number there, and it was Bebris indeed. And the two heavyweights were sort of disagreeing on the edge of the circle as the puck drops. Manchester skate the puck out. Kovar switches sides. Indra, cross-ice pass, down to Bebris. Drives on the right side, sends it around the boards.
I was just looking down towards the dressing room.
Don't forget
to get an update on Jonathan Weaver because we've heard no news yet.
There's still 55 seconds on the... And there's a battle in front of the net and the puck's loose.
Around.
Manchester on the puck, shoots, tries for the puck, top slot and deflects off a perfectly blocked shot there from the Telford Tigers, and there was a lot of pressure there. Telford short-handed for the first 55 seconds of the period as Adam Taylor picked up a minor penalty for interference where he collided with Stephen Fone. In his defence, Silverthorne lets a shot go just wide to the post, and in the defence of the young Telford player, it was the defenceman who checked him into the netminder. So I think he came off a little bit worse for wear on that one.
Well, if somebody was coming there very late, I didn't
Satek
see
and
that.
Davis trying to move it between them. I think he was looking for the space where Satek was going to move into, but he didn't quite get there. Quarter of a second behind the play. Now, Tigers on the first power play for 1 minute and 21 seconds. Telford bat the puck down into its own end. Clarkson skates across. Scott takes the play. Clarkson's with him. He delays the puck to Clarkson. Across to Zajac. Wind up. And it was the block from Boothroyd that changed his mind.
No,
and the block from Boothroyd once again. Third time gets the shot away. Pad save from Fone into the corner. And great play from Boothroyd. Line across the ice to block the shot. And Zajac then deciding not to make the slap shot as that shot block would be enough to impede the puck getting its way through.
And
Davis
works his way through.
47 seconds with a man advantage to the Telford Tigers.
Sets it up. Silverthorne calms it down a little bit. He's got Zajac
Silverthorne,
on the point.
Zajac, back to Silverthorne, walks in, the puck bobbles, gets the shot away, and the rebound comes out. The save of Silverthorne's shot was made by Fone. The rebound drops out to Clarkson, and the power play goal scored by Doug Clarkson at 32 minutes and 28 seconds was a power play goal for the Telford Tigers, bringing them back into the game on 1-1. The defending Telford player, and they're cycling the puck really well. And that's something that's become a bit of a trademark of the EPL, hasn't it? All the teams cycling the puck in the corner, looking to shake the defenseman, break out into the slot and do the damage.
It's the European style of play, you know. We've said many times the big USA, Canada style of play is gone.
Gone as your day. Give it to the import and wait for him to score.
That's it, yeah. Give it to Chuck Taylor, scores from the halfway line. You get an assist.
Yeah.
£5 off your sponsor.
Wasn't it Shilling?
Five Groot.
Now, here we go. Kalina shoots and scores! He drives it down the right side. He pulls the puck back. He waits for the netminder to set up, and Kalina picks his spot and fires it into the back of the net for the second goal of the night. Telford Tigers into the lead on 36 minutes and 47 seconds. A beautiful executed goal by Kalina. So the puck drops, the third period action. Manchester win it, goes back to the defence. Send forward to Indra, who's out on the ice. So it wasn't in the penalty box. And now, Manchester skate forward. And actually, when he comes out of the box, what's interesting there is that effectively, you're going to have a fresh pair of legs that's been resting for 10 minutes, Alan.
Absolutely, yeah. 10 minutes of penalty and, 20 minutes of period break there, so...
Kalina shoots, walks it in from the high slot, shoots, and a pad save and stick save from Fone. And now you get another attempt at a walk-in from McEwen, but held up by the Manchester defence. Manchester really tight in front of the netminder, really holding the play-off and really making it difficult for the Tigers. Now, a walk-in. Shoot!
Oh, that's a goal
and it
from
comes
McEwen.
Across. It was created by Brittle. Brittle carried the puck around the back of the net, dropped it back to McEwen, who finished it off by firing it into the back of the net, giving the Telford Tigers a 2-goal cushion. 3-1 the scoreline, scored by McEwen, assisted by Brittle. Another goal from the Telford Tigers put them 3-1 in front against the Manchester Phoenix here at the Telford Ice Rink. A line change is coming in, so he needs to hang on to it. A forecheck from Milan.
puts it across ice and now Saté walks in, shoots, and a pad stay from Phone, kept in once again by Silverthorne. Backhanded through the slot, Plant deflects it beautifully off the boards, round the player, takes it into the corner, battles using his strength on the boards, keeps his body between the puck, up to the slot, shoots and scores from Davis, and you can't fault the work rate there from Rick Plant, the determination he showed behind the net, pushing, shoving, working, driving the puck into the slot area where Davis did what he needed to and find a spot in the back of the net to put the Telford Tigers 4-1 up on 58 minutes and 34 seconds. And it's been a really solid performance. As I say, if I was Tony Hand, I'd be really proud of what those 12 guys achieved.
Yeah. And these guys have worked hard through the
pass comes forward now. Kovar drives forward, turns and shoots, and that's the hooter for the end of the game. And it finishes with the Telford Tigers 4, Manchester Phoenix 1. A good performance from both teams.
So the Telford Tigers so far in the league go undefeated. Will that stay tonight when the Tigers take on the Sheffield Steeldogs? Join us after the break on Big Centre. Welcome back to Icing Tonight. Tonight, the Telford Tigers take on the Sheffield Steeldogs. We welcome Matty Davis to Telford. How are you finding it?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, up to now. Obviously, all the lads are getting on really well, and we've got a good team here, so yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's good.
And how do you find the variation? Because you're playing in a different league this year.
It's different. It's obviously, I mean, it is a step down in standard, but I think the standard in this league's definitely increased from when I used to play in it when I was a lot younger. So it's a tough league to play in. It's a different type of game, but I'm getting used to it every game, so I'm enjoying it.
Fantastic. A good result again last night, putting you on a winning streak at the moment.
Yeah, it was a great win. The lads obviously travelling well at the minute. 2 big win last weekend, and then we backed it up last night against a good Guildford team. So yeah, we're just looking to keep it going really and win every game we can.
So Alan, that was Matty Davis, who's got high expectations of tonight's game. Looking at last week, they ground down, they worked pretty well. It was an even first period. They got the better of Manchester by the third. Looking at last night's in Guildford, very encouraging again. You'd expect the same against the Steeldogs.
I'd imagine so. Tom's playing to his advantage the fact that he can rotate 4 lines around 4 relatively strong lines.
Yeah.
And don't forget, we've still got a couple of key players missing through injury. There's 3 going to be missing tonight, so it's looking good at the moment for the Tigers.
Fantastic. Let's take a look at the first period action. Teams line out. First line for the Tigers. Silverthorne, Clarkson, Hill, Tate and Zajac. Now, this is the first time these pairings have played together on D. Yeah. As the puck drops, Clarkson ends up with it, sends it back to Zajac, across to Warren Tate, steps up to the blue line, looks for the stretch pass. The interception of number 33 for the Steeldogs. Bossas didn't get to the puck, and now it's deep in the end zone. Comes in front, Silverthorne gets the shot away, the netminder tucks, and it drops down in front of the goal, but very nearly. The Tigers get their first attempt on goal, 15 seconds in, and now Sheffield take it down the other end, make a shot, and it's being carried out by Silverthorne across to Hill. And it's an offside call against Clarkson, I think, on the far wing. Stick deflection, and Maynard stops the puck, but to the advantage of the incoming Sheffield player, wearing 21, Liam Chernock, almost made the most of that. Brittle plays the body of Greg Wood. And now, skating out, Macaulay Haywood. Hits the halfway line, shoots it over. It was across the halfway line, so it won't go for icing.
Well, he did a sensible thing, dumped it in, has allowed the line to change.
And get the lines back together now as Silverthorne, Hill, and Clarkson holding back and almost playing the trap between the 2 blue lines there.
And young Macaulay was on the score sheet again last night.
Tried for the stretch pass. Calvert gets a deflection. Puck drops down into the end zone. Netminder comes out, plays it off the boards to Hill. Calvert cycles forward. A lunge by Warren Tate. Gets the puck forward to Silverthorne. On to Clarkson on the right wing. Hill comes in front of the slot. Good work and hustling there for Thomas Barry for the defence of the Sheffield Steeldogs. Tate, he lined it up and it didn't quite, it bobbled a little bit. Zajac shoots, and I think it took a deflection from either Hill or Silverthorne. The shot came from Sam Zajac in the high slot area, and you'll see the celebrations go as the Telford Tigers celebrate their first goal on 5 minutes and 8 seconds. So at 5:08, the Telford Tigers, off the mark on the scoring, scored, and we'll wait to see who's credited to in terms of deflection, but the play was generated by Sam Zajac.
Absolutely, Tate sort of faked the shot. I thought he was going to let it rip, pushed it across to Zajac, who put one in. Maybe a bit pinballish, but let's hear who got it.
Yeah, it's credited to 22. Jason Silverthorne got the deflection or the rebound from Sam Zajac's shot, but that puts them on the scoreboard at 5 minutes and 8 seconds. Tigers 1, Sheffield 0. Backhand, Davis drives forward into the end zone now. Satek hovering in front of the high slot area. Davis tries to paddle it on the backhand, goes round as far as the Zamboni corner. And then Satek generates the play. Sheffield clear it out into neutral ice, picked up by 69. That's a drive forward now from Myrna.
Beautiful.
Shoots and it comes across, and the retaliation from Bossas, I think, was the scorer. And that goes 33. Bossas assisted by the drive in the corner from Myrna, and the answer to Telford's goal comes some 32 seconds later. At 5 minutes and 40 seconds, the Sheffield Steeldogs pull it back to 1-1.
Well, that was short-lived, wasn't it? And we see this
was.
time and time again. The Tigers set back on that lead, and they've paid the price. I think Bossas, this is his second season, I think, with the Steeldogs.
As you can see there, Matthews now indicates, checks in with his goal judges, is about to drop the puck. So we're all tied up on 5 minutes 40 seconds. Maynard.
I've got to say, totally against the run of
Danny Rose, bit of pushing and shoving in front of us, and that's between Ralph and McEwen. Now Sheffield using that momentum, driving forward. A bit more determination on the skaters' faces from the Sheffield Steeldogs now.
Yeah, that will have picked them up. They're getting straight back.
Macaulay Haywood drives in front of the bench. The puck bobbles a little bit. He tries to feed it through. Zajac comes out with the puck on the backhand, down to Warren Tate. Picks up the puck and drives forward, hits the blue line. Backhands it very high, up into the rafters, and it hits the netting and drops down. So the face-off will come out into neutral ice because it was shot cleanly out by a Telford player up into the netting. It wasn't shot from the defensive zone, so it won't be a penalty. Dan Scott now back for the Telford Tigers. Sets up the play, just behind the goal. There's a bit of a drive forward now. Pushing and shoving now on the right side. Davis on the backhand, turned and shot by the backhand of Rick Plant. He took the puck, he turned away and then let the backhand shot go. A wide shot from Jones to the left of the post, comes around the boards, and now Sheffield come through. Kirk, centre ice, walks through, tries to carry it round, gets pushed wide and gets the backhand in front, and you can see why this is a potential young star of the future. From Kirk's drive through the defenseman, pushing wide, great hands while he's leaning into the body of the Telford defenseman, and you can see why that lad's got potential future.
I'm still edging it towards the Tigers, maybe a bit biased, but I think they've got a slight upper hand at the moment.
I think the Tigers look a bit more relaxed and a bit more confident, but Sheffield are causing them problems, and they're getting flash breaks rather than control. Absolutely. I would have said. Jones shoots, deflected out by the backhand of the defenseman in there, which is Tim Smith.
Dan Scott just pushing it back down into the corner.
Cycle into the corner. They're doing this so well this season. The cycle in the corner, up to the top. Dan Scott lets the cannon go, but it only gets as far as James Hadfield between the pipes for the Steeldogs. Puck drops across. Satek curls up ice, hits the blue line, looks for the stretch pass. Davis heads across. Plant on the backhand, down into the corner. Satek once again, and there's a penalty called. Now, who's it going to go on? It's a holding penalty, and looking at the reaction on Rick Plant's face, it's him that's got the penalty. I reckon he's on the 50-50 bus, and the referee, Matthews, gives a minor penalty. You can see the frustration in Rick Plant's face. 18 minutes and 35 seconds. So the Sheffield Steeldogs set up for their first power play of the night. Greg Wood lines up in the centre. Can this give Sheffield a bit of an advantage going into the period break? Tate, and then Hill dumps it corner to corner with a slap shot from the opposite end of the rink. There's 1 minute 20 seconds left in the period, and they'll start the next period, unless a goal scored, with a 30-second short-handed play. That's the Tigers as they start period 3. Hurst dumps it down, but a wasted puck on a power play. You'd want to take control in your end zone as you carry the puck in. Hill takes a deflection from a Sheffield player. Bossas caught the puck, but then it dropped outside the blue line, but very wittingly put it backhand into his own end to set up the play. Silverthorne with the aggressive forecheck as he drives into the end zone to try and force an error.
Well, absolutely, because Telford are dangerous short-handed. We know that.
They picked up a lot of short-handed goals in the pre-season friendly. Clarkson picks up the puck in neutral ice. Riss shoots it down to the end of the rink. And now just behind the net there.
I think as far as a Sheffield-Telford game goes, the penalty.
Wide shot there comes across from Myrna, goes into the right-hand corner. And every time Sheffield have been close to Telford's net, Myrna's been on it.
Who would have believed a Sheffield-Telford game with only 2 minutes of penalties in the first period?
Oh, and a forecheck there from Davis, gets a turnover. Satek to Davis on the back post, to Satek, tries to reach it, but he was almost on the goal line, took the angle away. But it was the work of Davis to get the turnover to the loose puck. Satek comes out, a nice bit of passing between the two. 1-2 in the puck, cross ice, and you can see the netminder having a chat with his defenseman there. James Hadfield going, there's no way you can give a turnover just inside your own blue line. The slightest second of complacency, and suddenly you see the Tigers utilising that space and talent.
Absolutely, and Bossas went off the ice fuming there, smashing it, slamming his stick against the barrier on the ground when he got off. That was a very, very...
And we end the first period with the Telford Tigers 1, the Sheffield Steeldogs 1 at the end of the first period. So, Alan, end of the first period. That started very even. There wasn't much difference in possession. The first Tigers goal, I thought, here comes the change. 5 minutes and 8 seconds, only for Sheffield then to counteract that with an attack 32 seconds later.
They did the exact right thing there. You know, your head can go down, but Sheffield came out battling. We saw right from the start there. They have to push hard. Telford have got the bigger bench. They went the goal down. The best thing they can do is immediately come back, and that's what they did. Telford went under the back foot.
And as I look at the game, what seemed to happen then for the rest of that period is each team neutralised each other out of the game. There didn't seem to be any real structured attacks or defence. It was all about the neutral zone. It was all about the turnovers. But there were never either any constructed breakouts from either side, really.
What you saw there was Telford trying to play a high breakout, and Sheffield were defending against a high breakout. So the game is going to be neutral because there's no mismatch of tactics. Both teams are... Sheffield are defending to the tactics that Tom is playing, so they're going to have to see what they can trick around in this break.
Okie dokie, so here we go. Second period action. Telford Tigers take on the Sheffield Steeldogs. 1-1 the scoreline. Referee Matthews indicates to the bench, drops the puck. There's a bit of a turn and a bit of a rugby scrum in the centre circle there, but coming out of the face-off with the puck was Briscoe for Sheffield, and now a drive forward by number 42, which is Smith. Sends it around the board. Sam Zajac tries to clear it out. Remember, Sheffield on the power play. Puck gets dumped down the ice. And now it's just tipped behind the net to allow Smith to bank it off the boards. Another 7 seconds and Telford will return back to 5 skaters, an effective penalty kill.
And the puck is just robbed by Hill there on the Sheffield blue line. Tigers back to full strength. And
now Plant comes out of the box, joins back into the game, but now a breakout. Smith takes it back into his own end. Bossas. Plant's forechecking, the puck drops to the feet of Sam Zajac, puts it cross ice in front of the bench. The puck deflected off the boards by Timothy Smith.
Timothy Smith?
Timothy Smith. And then Davis in front of the team store. Circles round, Plant hovering in, shot from the point from Dan Scott. Oh no, that's tipped in! That now it's been washed off. It's been washed off, and rightly so. What you saw from that is the shot went in from Dan Scott. It was saved and deflected from the leg pad of Headley between the pipes of Sheffield. The puck went up into the air, and Rick Plant reached up, and tapped it from the backhand of his stick into the net. However, it was clearly a high stick because it was above Rick Plant's head and it was high in the air.
I don't think Rick was arguing again.
No, he wasn't. He got a cheeky grin on his face. And, it was a great opportunity.
You've got to try
just
these things.
high up in the air, yeah.
You've got to try them as the Tigers put the pressure on again.
Shot comes in from the point, once again a stick save. This time out to Ashley Calvert. Tries for the stretch pass through to Kirk. It goes past Kirk and down to Rashka, who just deflects the puck. And now an attack comes. Satek behind the net. Circles round, up to the point. Dan Scott again! If this isn't a set play, it's 4 times that's happened now. Unfortunately, though, Headley's got the number and made the save once again.
Clarkson back to Tate on the point. He's just
Tate tries to backhand it in, and Bossas gets a break, and Zajac holds him up, pulls and spins. He gets the shot away, and then literally falls over.
No penalties.
Bossas with a drive pass, and that was a good play from Sam Zajac. Yes. Good determination. He fell over, and what took Bossas off his feet, if you're watching on television, as you'd have seen there, was that after Sam curled out, he lost his footing. Sheffield got a shot, and I think he's got an injury. 69 sort of fell awkwardly. Sheffield 3-on-3, but Telford get the turnover for Danny Rose, Futa Kalina. Rose drives forward down the left wing. And you see Morgan just angling away, gets it behind the net to Hill. Hill on the backhand to Kalina, gets it in front, tries for the shot, and then a sweep from Hill into Headley, and he hangs on to the puck. And that was a great piece of play there by Kalina, Headley, and Danny Rose generated the play from the defence. Shot comes in and the rebound picked up, a backhand comes across, and 2 attempts there. Liam Chernock really driving forward for the Steeldogs and starting to worry Telford's defence there, Alan.
Yes, I mean, there's a bit of Sheffield of old. We're seeing the hit being finished off there and by Hurst.
What that will do as well is change momentum of the game. Throw a few hits, mix it up a little bit.
Absolutely.
And inject a bit of life into the game. Rashka, the puck deflects out, it comes to neutral ice, but there's nobody on the blue line to hold it in. Tim Smith picks it up, D-to-D pass. Scott tries to find Satek. Pushing and shoving on the puck now, there's a 3-on-2. Satek to the back post, and Davis shoots and scores, and look at the celebration on Satek's face. He's on his knees, both hands in the air, punching Highwood towards the sky as you see him battle to try and force that puck past Headley. I think at first he thought Headley had got on it, and I think it drifted, either bounced from his padding or drifted in that small gap between Headley and the post, and as he went past, he saw the puck drop into the back of the net and gave it the football style on your knees celebration as he clutches his fist towards the air to put Telford in front. 27 minutes and 46 seconds.
You see the amount of celebration shows what that goal means.
Yeah.
It tells you what this game is about and how close it actually is.
It's a tied-up game. Both teams have stepped up the pace, and Telford have got themselves on the board. And now, Bossas drives forward for Sheffield. He's on his own. It's a 1-on-2. Zajac forcing him wide. He takes it round the back of the net. Zajac pushing and shoving. Tate also putting him under pressure. Kirk tries to get on the puck. Backhanded back down. Bossas comes in, turns and shoots. And Raska covers up the puck. And now there's some pushing and shoving. There's a bit of an overspill from that altercation there. Sam Zajac is in the middle of it. Off the point, up to Dan Scott. Wrist shot, and it took a deflection! And I thought it had gone then from Satek's skate. If it deflects, it's allowed. If it's kicked in, it's not. But if it just took a deflection off the blade, it would stand. But it just deflected to the right post. Now behind the net, Davis. Hustles on the corner. Cycles up to the high slot area. Walks in, fakes it, the defenseman backs off, and he just took his time and beautifully tapped it into the left-hand side of Hadfield. And to be fair to the netminder, what you saw the Sheffield defence do then is they peeled away, picking up a man, thinking that Davis was going to pass it off. But then Davis said, hang on a minute, the defence are peeling away. I'm just going to happily walk my way in, stop it, and do what I need to do.
It was like the parting of the waves, the parting of the sea. That was the door just opened up for him. In he went, took the shot. 3-1 Telford Tigers.
Kalina goes for Hayward, pushes in a little bit of a cross-check there.
Patterson.
Calvert.
Hayward, yeah.
Patterson.
Definitely a change in Sheffield's style here.
Yeah.
Great hit there. Takes a great hit on Danny Rose.
And he finishes the hit on Danny Rose, takes him off his feet, and it was the momentum of Danny Rose had stopped, and Calvert took him off. But it was a great hit, a fantastic hit.
Ben Morgan just loses out on the blue
line. And now Macaulay
there.
Hayward drives through the right side, picks up the puck, cycles it round in the backhand.
What a goal!
And standing on the back post there. I'm just trying to see who it was that scored it. You've got Kalina there, but it was finished off by McEwen. Doug, if you're listening, a fantastic finish. Macaulay Haywood drives down the right side. The defenseman pushes away from him. He carries the puck just past and then backhands it across to McEwen, stood on the back post, who fires it into the back of the net. And here we are. Goal number 4 for the Tigers, scored on 33 minutes and 55 seconds.
I apologise for my enthusiasm there, but I've watched Macaulay Haywood transition from a guy on the fringes to he scored last night, and what he did there was out of this world. All the way down, spun on his backhand, give it to McEwen.
Clarkson shoots, and McEwen stood on the back post waiting to just fire it into the back of the net. Now, the puck cycling just behind the net. And now a drive forward by Sheffield, taken off them by Tate, and a big hit there, finished this time by Briscoe.
What I said in the last break, Paul, you know, when Telford scored the 3rd goal, Sheffield got to know what they do, but Kirk scored.
Walks his way in, carries it around the net, tries the wraparound, and an amazing wraparound from Kirk. The young guy just carries it around the back of the net with a complete wraparound. Rasker pulls to the post, drives, and he's so quick. He's got long reach, much like Adam Taylor's, and a beautifully executed, retaliated goal on 34 minutes and 36 seconds, only seconds after that fantastic goal by McEwen, set up by Macaulay Haywood. Kirk says, have a bit of that.
If you're a hockey fan, doesn't matter who you support, those last 2 goals, my reaction, I do apologise for it, but I was equally as excited about that last goal, because blimey, for these young guys to be going out and doing stuff like that, absolutely astounding.
Really making their mark on the league. There was a time when British guys were reserved for the bottom end, and it's them that are making all the plays on both teams tonight.
And I was just commentating, what has Sheffield got to do here? And there you go. You got
That's
the
what
reply
they got to
from
do. Yeah. Kurt taking the centre, and Kalina rejected for coming in too late. So Haywood takes the draw.
With this. I wish they'd just get on with it. Come on. There's the
Shot comes in from the point. It was a step up from Briscoe.
15 seconds. Pressure from the Steeldogs. They've kept it in, working around the back of the Tigers' net.
And now it's Kirk on the puck. Look at that turn, so quick, turning away from Macaulay Haywood, but the turnover came from Kalina, and it passed forward to Brittle. He reaches out and touches the puck. And at the end of the second period, Telford Tigers 4, Sheffield Steeldogs 2. So, Alan, second period, peppered with goals compared to the first. 3 in favour of the Tigers, 1 for the Steeldogs. The Tigers definitely got the momentum, getting those 2 goals together, but both teams working very hard and really skating at 110% for the entire period.
Absolutely, we saw a complete change in that period. Like I said earlier, it was like a different game. Goals from both sides. Tigers again had that thing where they got ahead and then seemed to relax a little bit, and they were punished for it.
Yeah, and I think the complacency came because they felt under control and they settled down, and Kirk, the young lad from Sheffield, said, right, okay, give me the puck, I'm going to go. He drove hard to the net. The defence did the right job. They pushed him away from Rasker, so he just went quickly around the back of the net with that long reach. He's a tall lad with long arms, and he just popped it in the opposite corner on the wraparound. Did the job that he needed to do, which then stepped up the pace from Sheffield's point of view.
Absolutely, we saw 2 cracking goals there, and you're absolutely right. Telford thought the cushion was too big, and I say it time and time again, that is when they've got to pick up the pace, not just be happy with what they've got.
The third period underway at Telford Ice Rink.
I'm glad the camera's got me the ice. I can have a cup of tea.
Yeah, wins the draw. So now, just takes it behind the net and loses possession. Whether the ice was sticky or the determination of Silverthorne putting him under pressure, but Almost got a turnaround then. Cross-ice pass comes from Zajac to Tate. 11.5 minutes remaining in the game. Telford with a 2-goal lead, 4-on-4 at the moment. And in 38 seconds, that'll go to a whole power play, a Sheffield power play.
Watch this, there could be retaliation there because, is it Bossas? I think he took a stick to the mid.
But they're going for a fly change now because
but he was almost looking to swing round.
And look at that slash coming across then. Now, it didn't connect, but you saw the attempt to throw in the stick round. Kalina pushes forward in a battle. 2 pokes, 3 pokes. McEwen's stick was held onto by Bell. And now, if Telford aren't getting, they must keep doing this. Keep the work going.
Before because Sheffield are getting the 6.
Now, you hear the fans cheering. Now, Kirk, he's a danger man. You hear the fans chanting, you don't know what you're doing. That is aimed at the fact that the referee didn't call anything for that hold up there. But now, Sheffield on the power play. 27 seconds with a man advantage. Calver, and an offside is called. So Dougie McEwen's lads out there, Rocket Ron Schroeder's lads out there.
McEwen, I remember at Cardiff.
Cardiff, and Peterborough.
Cardiff were the big team when they joined the instant promotion from the 2nd division to the 1st division to the Premiership as it was then. And I know Doug McEwen was instrumental in that.
Battle in the corner. And McEwen, Hope and... and at number 33, Bossas steps up from the high slot, walks in on that power play, 9 seconds left with the man advantage, picks his shot, makes the wrist shot and fires it home for the Sheffield Steeldogs. Now, you remember what we said about the goal? The next goal could be the game maker. 4-3 the scoreline, 1 goal in it now.
We haven't seen young Marshall on the lines at Telford this year yet, have we?
He's gone to university elsewhere, so he'll be refereeing in that part of the country.
Oh, okay. Well, good luck to him. He's doing a great job. That's a pint, Richard.
Shot block over to Plant. Kalina comes down the middle lane, picked up by Satek, shoots
over the top.
And you saw, to be fair, you saw Bricko push him in, the stick comes across the front, and then the puck, as you say, scooped up and goes high, and then in front, and it drops too, and there's that celebration again from Satek. Skates in front, the puck drops at his feet, and he fires it into the back of the net. So the Telford Tigers now sit on 5 goals to 3, and I think there'll be a sigh of release from the Telford coaching staff as they go in front 5-3 at 54 minutes and 24 seconds.
Satek pick that one up or Kalina?
I thought it was Satek that scored. Will Telford put the nail in the coffin by putting another one in the goal, or will this spur Sheffield on?
And this is what I mentioned earlier.
Oh, big hit from McEwen there, taking Bell off his feet, and you can see that he wasn't happy about that at all, so the retaliation might come back in the other direction.
Patterson's going in now.
Shot comes in from Schroeder. Stick save, cleared out the zone, goes out into neutral ice. It's going to be Lewis Bell that picks up the puck for the Steeldogs.
Well, Patterson took a bit of revenge on Danny Rose late for that big hit.
Step up. Shot comes in from Calvert.
See straight
puck
away,
deflects up and out of the ring.
The Steeldogs are back in it. They're putting the pressure on. And now,
and there's
Messi
Patterson
into the Tigers bench.
And he drops his... and that was, I think that was rocking with McEwen for this sort of bit that happened outside the blue line here. Silly penalties ain't going to help anybody.
Absolutely.
And the coach is very aware of that. And that's nice to see with a discipline from Sheffield as well.
It was a big hit from Myrna there, but Satek just spun out of the way.
The puck drops down, Bossas kicks it forward. Satek on the break. The pass tries to come through. Jones gives it only as far as Bossas. Carries it round the D-man, Dan Scott, clutching and grabbing, almost slashing at the stick. And you see Bossas look back at the referee for either a holding or a slash, because he was hacked and whacked as he tried to force his way through. And Dan Scott had no option, because you let him walk through, he's going to end up on the score sheet.
Sheffield are livening up now as we see.
And a hit followed through on Plant. And now Sheffield really put momentum up now.
We've seen a bit
backhanded
of Sheffield
tip up and over from Myrna.
A bit of Sheffield of old starting to shine through here. A bit of fisticuff sort of pushing and shoving, and RG and the shot there from Myrna goes wide.
Shot this time from the point from Rolf, and he finds the top right-hand corner. Look at the celebration on his face. The puck comes to him, he fires it for the top right-hand corner, beating Rashka and goes over his shoulder. We've got a game on our hands, Alan. 5-4 the scoreline. Time of the Sheffield goal is 55 minutes and 52 seconds, just like in the first period. The answered goal comes less than a minute and a half later.
I think that's 4 of them now. The Tigers have gone 1 goal up, and the Sheffield
come back.
Straight back.
The young Kirk at the front. Morgan's getting away with the goal.
There's
shot from
Bossas.
Yeah, goes wide to the right. There's a bit of a battle around the front. Phil Hill fires it up the linesman.
It's the linesman, so
and
that evens it out from before.
But that keeps the puck down into the end zone and stops it being cleared out the zone.
2 minutes remaining.
No, we're into the final 2 minutes. The netminder looks back to the bench. We'll keep an eye on him, see if he pulls off.
I'm just going to...
Now, I think as this setup comes, if he's going to go, he's going to go now. Looking at the Sheffield netminder, he looks over to the bench and has to make a save there as Phil Hill gets the turnover. And if that's going to make you nervous, if nothing does.
Sheffield come. He's looking. No. It's turned around and neutral ice again. And
Sheffield need to own possession if the netminder's to go off.
They're going to try and set up. He should follow the play off here. Watch.
As soon as it hits the halfway line, he ain't going anywhere.
Not.
He's not confident that they're going to keep possession, and they don't. Offside. Now,
there'll
be a quick... Now, the linesmen are going to get some grief here because... Now, Kalina comes in against Bossas. There's a bit of argy-bargy against the boards. Now, the reason that there's so much frustration, look, as camera 2 picks up the referee, you can see Bell and Wood chirping at the referee. The reason they're so cross is Kirk was in the offside position, but it was a Telford player that put the puck back into their own end. So it wasn't a Sheffield player that forced the puck over. So actually, as the letter of the rules state, it wasn't offside.
But the argy-bargy started because Bossas shot the puck a couple of seconds after the whistle went.
Now, 69 Marina just touched his stick on Davis's visor as if to incite him. Now, the referee now needs to get a grip on this game. Clarkson comes across. Sheffield shot goes wide, and this time it comes from Becco.
It's going to be all over.
The puck comes in.
No goal. It hit the...
And it goes over the top, deflects, and the whistle's blown. No, it's not. Yes, it is. It's the end of the game. The puck deflected up into the netting, and the Telford Tigers win the game 5-4 in an amazing, nail-biting third period, Alan.
Well, that was very close there. That very last shot got a tip, and it did go over, but a lot of people cheered. And has it gone in? But it was the end of the game we were cheering about. But blimey, these Sheffield fans have got to be living on a knife edge the last 2 nights.
A fantastic game. I hope you enjoyed it.
So, quite a slow burner in the first period, but then the second period really picked up.
I thought our first period was probably our best period of the night. We created a lot of good opportunities. I felt we should have probably took advantage of that good possession and that good play. We were allowed to play with a little bit more flow and a bit more speed. And then the second we started a little bit sluggish, but I thought we got going in the second. But I felt certainly through the first 2 periods we'd had enough chances to perhaps take Sheffield out of the game. We didn't.
Right. And then in the third period, it became quite scrappy in terms of searching for that goal.
Yeah, it was a little bit back and forth, and I think as a club and a group of guys that were here last season, you know what Bossas can do on the puck, and you give him that little bit of time and space, and he buried it. Again, I thought we had some good opportunities to make a difference, but there was a lot of mental swings in the game, a lot of momentum swings, sorry. We lose Sills, we concede a goal, we take a penalty, then Dougie takes a penalty on top of that. And we've got to manage our emotions a little bit at time and not let ourselves get caught up in the momentum of the game. And it's that little bit of psychological play that we've got to have to our group.
And that must have come with challenges for you as well, losing 2 players off your first line within a couple of minutes for at least 10 minutes. You've got to rejig the whole setup. Yeah,
it makes it tough, and that's why we have that depth. It only left us with 8 forwards for the back end of their game, with Warren playing on the back. But we got there in the end. I don't think it was a pretty win, but I'm sure we'll be in a lot more 1-goal games than that. And we've got to manage that at that point.
So the Telford Tigers so far unbeaten in the league. The challenges continue next week when Basingstoke Bison will make the trip to Shropshire to the Telford Ice Rink. We'll have all the coverage on Big Centre.
Sends it up to the point. Silverthorne off the boards, gets the break, goes with it. Silverthorne puts it onto the back post. Zajac puts it into the back post, and it goes forward from Macaulay Hayward, having the right hand over the top, throwing it in, and Miller's going toe to toe, and he's got 3 or 4 headshots, and then drags it down. Still has it. Zabo being sort of marked out the game by Tom, and the shot comes from forward now. Babrea with plans. Babrea walks in, shoots,
and he looks up his own rebound and scores.
Zabo and he's not happy about that. It was a late hit and a hit from behind, and you see the players